All the content contained in this webcast is for informational purposes only. The investments and strategies contained in this webcast may not be suitable for you. Please consult your own independent financial advisor before making any investment or trading decisions. Good morning, traders and investors around the world, and welcome to Tuesday's edition of PremarketInfo.com, where we prepare you for perhaps Turnaround Tuesday and a check-in on the busy analysts at Goldman Sachs.
Perhaps Turnaround Tuesday is the key word, though. We're up 175, so we're not up much. 1300 has held so far. Can it hold today? That's the big question.
Yeah, a fairly tight range in the SPOOs this morning, opening up at 1306.75, just dipping below the close ever so slightly, making a low at 1305.75. So I think that whole area from the Globex low down to yesterday's low, 1302.50, will be pretty well stacked with bids. Coming back on the upside, 1312.75, kind of in the middle of nowhere. I don't think that's going to hold as a high of the day. I'm looking for resistance, minor resistance at 1315.50. That was Monday's intraday high. And also don't forget about Thursdays and Fridays lows up at the 1318 level. But I'll tell you what's going to determine what the market's going to do today, Dennis.
It's going to be Apple. Apple's always the determinant, isn't it there, Joel?
Oh my God, look at this. An exact double bottom at 570.37. That was the low from yesterday. That was also the low on the 18th. That was backed up by a low at 569.55 on the 15th. 570 has to hold an Apple. If not, it is going to get flushed down the toilet, and the market's going to crap out and go to zero.
Yeah, that 570 needs to hold. You're right. I'm just looking at that chart now, that 10-day chart for the first time. That whole 570 area is critical. Did bounce off it a little bit there yesterday, so has held up. Trading 571.10 this morning. Yeah, we've had the sell-off. Topped out just under 590 just 5 sessions ago. So 570, we're right back in this whole support area we need to hold here.
Yeah, in the pre-market, it did float up, had some trades at 572.99. The low in the after-hours session has been 570 and a quarter. Another note on that, folks, if you're not comfortable just buying it after the open if it comes straight down through there, a lot of times you get it blasting through a level and then it comes back above it and really takes off. So we'll keep an eye on 570. It's going to be a big number in Apple today. Speaking of big numbers, IBM still hanging out in that 192.50 area. It did make a lower low yesterday below that, but man, it's like you got to do a tractor beam on this or something.
It did take and make a new low there. We were talking about this low 192s. I actually tried to buy it in the low 192s. I got stopped out just under 192. Guess I should have held because the stock did end up coming back a little bit there. I'll bring you up here the intraday chart there from yesterday. Just bear with me for 1 second here as I'm having troubles with my charts. I'm sleeping here this morning there, Joel, but 3-day chart here, a 10-day chart. So yeah, so we bounced back a little bit. We dip under 192, stop me out, I guess, and stop out whoever else was leaning on that 192 level, and then moved a little bit higher there in the afternoon.
Okay, the oils, boy, they just kind of opened up low and went lower. ExxonMobil, after that extremely weak close on Friday, you didn't think it would have that much follow-through off the open.
Yeah, no, I was taking, this one got me to, had a bad trade on this one of my worst trades so far of the month. ExxonMobil gapped down with the Russell rebalance right here on this little closing print here. Let me just, I'll bring up a 3-day chart here for you. I'm really moving the charts around here a lot on you today. Sorry about that. 3-day chart here, though. You can see exactly what happened here just yesterday morning. Or on Friday Friday at the close. It gapped down 50 cents. Then there was follow through, gap down again. I thought it might, do this, open at the low and rally. Did the exact opposite. Opened at the high and sold off. I was underwater by about 30-40 cents before I could even bring this stock up. It never came back. I ended up selling it out because you got to cut your losers. If I would have held, it would have came back. But that's the thing. You've got to have discipline when you're trading. You've got to say, look, I need to get out. That's how you you cut the losers when they're small. Don't let them get out of hand, because if you're just hoping and you're hanging on to these stocks, maybe 9 out of 10 times they come back, but that one time it doesn't come back, it can really hurt your overall account. You can lose your week or even your month, or worst case in your year. So you've got to have discipline. Don't worry about taking losers. It does happen. We're in the trading world. We're not going to be right all the time. When you're wrong, admit you're wrong and get out. That's what I did. Ended up having a bad trade on it. It would have came back, but that doesn't matter.
Okay, Chevron Corporation, too, was sitting on that major support that we had talked about, opened up just below it, just gapped down from Friday's low by a couple ticks, and then it dropped. It dropped about $1.50, landed in 98.17, recovered to 99.08. I still keep an eye on this 99.50 area. I mean, it is resistance now, with yesterday's high being there, but that's just one stock. If it gets back above 99.60, 99.65, I don't think that's one I wanted to be short. I just
want to talk about that Chevron there yesterday too, because I actually was bidding for this stock at the open at that level, that 99.50 level that we were talking about. But then Mobil opened so low, I got filled on that. I was like, whoa, Mobil's taken out and it's opening and moving lower. I have nothing to do with this Chevron. Chevron hadn't opened yet. I quickly canceled my Chevron order. Lucky I did, obviously, because the stock opened up right at the high as well, and I would have got beat up on that one too. So you got to be quick at the open. I saved myself a lot of money. Even though I lost money in Exxon, it actually saved me money in Chevron, because the week open in Exxon, I'm like, Chevron's going to go down here too. If I would have been smart, I would have reversed and probably put a sell order on Chevron. But I was just quick enough just to cancel my buy order. Should have reversed and put a sell order, and then I would have been pretty good and I would have been hedged. But regardless, at least I didn't get long both of those things.
Sometimes your best trades can be the ones you cancel.
It is, and that was a good one. So it would have been a really ugly morning for me, because I would have had a big loser in Exxon and Chevron, and I didn't have any trade in Chevron, so I got lucky that way.
And then you're just to finish up in the Big Ten, 66.42 is where J&J rests right now. It opened up near Thursday's low, went through it by a couple ticks. But folks, just a quick note here: that thing did rebound, but it got right up to the close. Stopped it right on. Just keep an eye on that. The closes are good numbers, because I mentioned before, this is where big stock positions are, for the institutions are marked. It affects their buying power, and it's a good number and something you got to focus on. But just one thing, going back to those oils, Dennis, don't you ever notice, like, if you have a bad trade in a stock like that, and even if, like, you're driving your car down the street and you see an Exxon station, you won't go get gas there?
You get the venge. They took all my money. It already took too much money for me. I'm not going to give them more money from filling up my car. I used to do stuff like that when I started trading 13 years ago. It doesn't bother me as much now. The losers don't bother me as much as they used to. They still tick you off a little bit, but I mean, it goes with the territory. You're going to have losers if you're a trader, so you can't have revenge on the gas station because he lost money in the stock.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, you can.
Do whatever you want.
Well, I suppose, at least if that makes you feel better. If that makes you feel better with the trade, okay, don't fill up your car at ExxonMobil after you end up losing money in the stock.
Okay. Got some market movers today.
We do have a few market movers here. STX being added to the S&P 500. This was announced last night. Stock got a lift last night. Joel will go find that after hours high there for you. But it's trading 24.13 this morning. Interesting enough, you've got a couple of tops here. 24.68 and 24.52 were the highs just from 5 and 4 trading sessions ago. So that could be your first area of resistance. I think it got up into that area too, if I'm not mistaken. Last night was a high there yet last night after they announced that, Joel.
24.62. That same guy that was out there selling on the 19th was up last night, selling as well.
Yep.
I mean, these things are kind of tricky, because they always get added to the S&P. You got to run out and buy it on the open. No, you don't. The people that are buying these stocks and trading these stocks, sometimes they anticipate this happening, and other times, they'll have algorithms to figure out, where the value areas to buy the stock. 24.50, that 24.68, that's huge. That's where we hit in the pre-market. I expect a lot of resistance there.
Yeah, I think so too. Other movers we have APOL, which is Apollo Education. That stock announced earnings there last night, and this is an interesting one here. This is a stock that has been absolutely killed here in the last 4 months. 4 months chart. 4 months ago, this stock was trading up here over 55 bucks. Trading down, closed at 32.47, is getting a little bit of a lift, 33.58, but this stock traded much higher in the after hours after they announced those earnings. Joel will go find that after hours high for you, but I'm just looking at this whole high, 35.29, 35.22, 35.58. If I'm not mistaken, it traded up to that area in the after hours too.
Yes, it did. 35.76 was the high.
Yep.
When it was released. Came all the way back down under $33. Made a low in the pre-market at 32.75. Gotten a little bit of a bounce there up to 34.50, and now just consolidating around this 33.50 area.
I don't like the price action on this one. I don't like the price action on this one at all because it traded up. It was strong for a while and started to get weak last night in the after hours session. It's weaker here this morning, so you can say, oh, it's up $1.11. They like the earnings. It's doing well. Well, no, they liked them a lot better last night at 35.70. This thing's had a 2-point sell-off from where it was trading, just in the after hours. So it's weak here. I wouldn't be surprised if this thing actually gave back all the gains here at the open.
Yeah, I'm looking at this 32.50 level. 32.28 was yesterday's low. So obviously that's going to be very good support. You also had a low in that area on the June 14th. So at 32.26. So if you are playing this from the long side, you have a dollar from major support. So keep that in mind. I mean, anybody that's owned this stock since 2009 has gotten schooled. You got to just be cognizant of that. That's when stocks have been this deep underwater, when again any kind of pops are going to be met with sellers.
That's exactly it. When you have stocks that have had a trend like this, which is very, very ugly, moving down, coming into formidable resistance in this whole 35 area, which we just highlighted. People take those opportunities and they lighten up their position, or they start to initiate even short positions. So, and with the pricing action that we've seen in the after hours and in the pre-market here, makes me think that they're going to take this back down to support. And if they take it through that support, look out below because the stock could get ugly in a hurry. There is some other ones that were moving with this too, a few in the group here, so we might as well highlight those as well. ESI is one, which is ITT Educational Services. It was trading up a bit last night on this report. This one has a little bit of a better chart, but they're all pretty ugly. And just the other one quickly is DeVry, another one that moves with this as well. I think this trade over 28 in the after hours, trading 27.90 right now. This one has formed a nice double bottom in this whole 26 area. So maybe the stock DeVry can start to get a lift off these earnings. But keep an eye on Apollo. That's going to be your leader in the sector. If you're trading DV or ESI, that will be your leader.
Yep, DeVry, it's not a whole lot of volume here associated with this move, so buyer beware. Did tick up to 28.22. I'd keep a real close eye here on this triple top here. Actually, you had four highs between 27.54 and 27.88. Let's call it 27.70 if you're buying this stock off the hop. Don't let it get too much below that level. Going back to resistance, 28.46. Was the high on June 12th. And then look at, what was the other one you mentioned? ESI.
ESI, yeah.
Yeah, that stock is trying to form a bottom as well. Big number here was 58.44. That was the high on May 31st. Hit that in the pre-market, so let's see if that can hold or if it will just slump right back down. The analysts at Goldman Sachs, are they working overtime or what?
They're doing some work here this morning. They're doing a pair trade with J.P. Morgan, Morgan Stanley. Apparently, they upgraded J.P. Morgan, putting J.P. Morgan on the conviction buy list, and they took Morgan Stanley off the conviction buy list. So that's why Morgan Stanley is actually trading down here about 20 cents, and J.P. Morgan trading up 30 cents. So pair trade for Goldman Sachs.
Yeah, boy, that Morgan Stanley. I got a buddy that works there, and I was talking to him the other day, and I just said, man, 14.50. Just keep an eye. Don't and then it but at whatever comes out, look at all those highs there at
Yeah.
1450. And now we're coming back down again. They just can't get away from the Facebook debacle. I mean, I just don't understand why this stock just has not gone anywhere. But speaking technically, 1305 is the lowest this stock is traded on. Did that on June 6th. We're trading here down a little bit, but keep an eye on that $13 level. Looks like you'll find some buyers there.
Yeah, and then below that we had the lows of the year, which were down at 1226
Amazing.
there. I think this chart's broken. We had this beautiful uptrend going, got right to formidable resistance, right at 1450. So you had the uptrend fighting the resistance. Looks like, or fighting the support of the uptrend and then fighting the resistance. And now what you see happening here is basically the stock is broken. Goldman's looking at the chart. They say it's broken. Take it off the conviction buy list. I don't want to own this thing. I think you got to be a seller or rallies. Does not look good for this brokerage house. J.P. Morgan though, still looking good here. I'm still mad at you, Joel. I'm not going to get over this. I wanted to buy this thing back at 31. You're like, wait for it to get down to 29. Wait for it to get down to 29. It never got there. I could have picked the bottom on this one and got out, and I've been up 5 points by now. $31 or right down there at 30.83 was the low, and now the thing's trading up at 35.70 in the pre-market.
Yeah, well, maybe you'll get another shot to buy it down there.
When?
It's had
When? Tell me when it's going there. I'm going to short it before.
Yeah, I wish you knew. Well, taking a look, actually, the day that we talked about it was a day that it didn't have a double bottom yet. It only had that one low there, so it was still cascading down. But that you got me on that one. Boy, I tell you, the stock has had a nice pop from 30.83 over almost to $37. I tell you, 37.03. We could be looking to take a little bit back of this move. We've had, roughly a 6-point move. We take half of it back, go back down to this 34 area. Maybe you could buy some at 34.07 over the next couple days.
Yeah, and Goldman's also in the news here. They downgraded Cognizant to a sell. There was news, I think, last night of Cognizant too. I think that there was something with the guidance. But regardless, there's no trades actually this morning here on the CTSH. But it is offered down. It's offered down at $57 right now. Best bid's 56.28. So this chart doesn't look pretty here either. You had this, it was running into resistance up here in this hole just above $60. You had a sell-off day 3 days ago, and then we consolidated for a couple days, but we're just drifting down. Now it appears we're going to actually go down. I would look at that first low in early June of 56.35. Maybe that's your first stopping point on this. If it takes that out, you got to go back to May, which they had a low there. I'm trying to grab it for you, but it looks like 55.70.
Yeah.
If it takes that out, then Katie bar the door. We're going lower. $55 is probably on the radar if it takes that out.
Yeah, what do they do?
Technology, yeah. Technology
Tech is
stock.
out, right?
Yeah, I'm not a fundamentalist. I'm a technical trader here. So don't throw me under the bus. Ask me fundamentals about specifics. It's in the technology sector. Come on, read the Cognizant technology.
I should be cognizant of the ticker symbol. News Corp in the news.
News Corp in the news here as well. They're talking about splitting up the company, so it's giving the stock a little lift here this morning. It's trading 21.19 right now. Keep in mind there's two stocks tickers on this one, NWS and NWSA. They have two versions. Those stocks trade almost identical in price. What one does, the other one does. So NWSA trading up as well at $21 right now, trading above these highs that we had here. Just going back to the NWS ticker, trading above these highs that we had here in the 2094 area. So the stock's looking pretty good. We go to the weeklies. Man, is this a 52-week high? Yeah, it is. This is a new 52-week high for the stock this morning. So NWS looking good here.
Made a high in the pre-market at 21.40. Looking at the high going back from May 11th, it's above that level, 2094. So use that level of support. The stock has certainly shrugged off all the negative publicity surrounding their taping scandal and whatnot. Splitting the company, I don't know how much that does to increase the value. But
just rumors of splitting the company. So not even factual yet, and they're giving it this much of a lift.
I don't know if I'd be buying this one off the open.
It's hard to say, but definitely you like when stocks make new 52-week highs. I wouldn't be shorting it either, so you want to keep that in mind too. Old 52-week high here. What is it? 2094. That's what I'm
Yep.
getting. So
Yep.
2094. So call that whole area 21. Maybe that if we open above there, maybe that gives you a little bit of support. Starts to take that out, or starts to only open around 21 and starts to peel back. Then I'd get nervous if I was long it. So keep an eye on this one. Could be interesting. Running short on time here. Quiet open. We're only 0.75 on the S&P. 0.75. Not even up a point here. Looks real quiet. Any words of caution or words of wisdom for our listeners there, Joel?
Just keep an eye on that 1305.75, which was just below the close. Looks like that's poised to be tested early in the session. Keep an eye. I think Apple's going to be your stock today to keep an eye on. Under 570 could be extremely weak, and I'm afraid that may drag the market down as well. That's our show for today, folks, and we'll be back with you tomorrow.